What's up, y'all? It's Bae, and today we're going to be trying a new recipe. Today we're going to be trying a jerk chicken recipe that I got from Sam the Cooking Guy, and we will link that video down below in the description if you want to go and check his video out after you watch this one though. But yeah, stay tuned and we're going to go ahead and get right into the video. First, we're starting with some freshly washed hands. Now I'm going to wash off 2 of the habanero peppers for the jerk sauce. Now I was so scared, y'all, because this is my first time having habanero peppers in anything, so I was so scared it was going to be extremely hot, but it wasn't. Now I'm going to take 1 bunch of green onions and I'm just going to wash those off as well. Now, Sam the Cooking Guy actually used freshly chopped onion, which this is freshly chopped onion as well. I just didn't chop it, the grocery store did. So you can either buy it pre-chopped or you can purchase a onion and chop it yourself. But now with the habanero peppers, we're just going to roughly chop these. They don't have to be chopped in a special way because we're actually going to blend these up inside of the sauce. So we just want to get them chopped in half. And I'm going to go ahead and place it in my NutriBullet container, and we'll continue with chopping our vegetables. Now I'm going to chop the entire bunch of green onions in 1-inch pieces. Once I've got them all chopped, I'll just take all of the green onions and add them into my NutriBullet as well. Now I'm taking a head of garlic, and I believe I used either 4 or 5 cloves of garlic in this recipe, and you'll see Bae trying to school me on how to peel these, because I usually just buy minced garlic in like a jar, but yeah, we bought some fresh garlic today and I had to get a little refresher course. So once you add your 5 cloves of garlic, you'll take 1 large lemon, and you'll just take the juice from that lemon. You see me here just making sure that the seeds don't get into my mixture. I don't have my little lemon juicer, not sure what happened to it, but yeah. And you'll also need a lime. You want the juice from the lime as well. And I was trying extremely hard to get the juice out of this lime, but it was like bone dry, so we didn't get any lime juice. Next, I'm going to take a few tablespoons of brown sugar and place it directly into the NutriBullet. Now you'll see me adding in some onion. Now Sam the Cooking Guy used like large chunks of onion, but hey, I bought these already chopped up, so I'll just throw some of these into my NutriBullet. It really doesn't matter though, because if you haven't noticed, we will be blending this up into a sauce, so it doesn't matter if you use large or small chopped onions. Next, we'll be adding in our seasoning, so I'm adding in some thyme. Now, Sam the Cooking Guy used about 2 tablespoons of each seasoning, I guess, but I was just eyeballing it, so you can choose to measure it or just eyeball it. Next, I'm using some cinnamon, and I didn't use a lot of this at all. Next, I'm going to be adding in a little cumin. Didn't use a lot of this at all either. Next, I'm going to be adding in some accent seasoning because it wakes up the flavor in food, which is true. Next, I'm going to be adding in some black pepper, and you cannot forget the black pepper in anything that you make. Next, I'm going to be adding in some black garlic, or you can use a regular garlic powder, but the black garlic just brings in a different flavor. Next, we're adding in a little cayenne pepper. And guys, I forgot to tell you guys that we use different seasonings than Sam the Cooking Guy, so our flavor may be a little different than his, but it was still good. Next, I'm just going to peel a little of the skin, I guess, off of the outside of this fresh ginger, and I'm going to cut 1 inch of the ginger and place it directly into my NutriBullet. As you see here, I just cut it up in small slices just to make it easier to blend. Next, I'm going to add half a pack of my SAZON seasoning. Next, you'll see me putting this bougie olive oil in this meal. I got this bottle just because it looks high class and fancy and bougie. Alright y'all, that's it for the sauce. So we're going to go ahead and screw our top, which is also the blade for the NutriBullet. And let's head on over and get this blended up. Okay, so I blended this up until all of my vegetables were completely blended because as I stated, this is going to be a sauce consistency. Now it is okay if you have like a few chunks in here, like my NutriBullet did not completely blend up the green onion. As you can see here, it's a little chunks in here, but it's fine because it was still good. But if you have a blender that blends a little better than this, that's fine. But as long as it's in a liquid consistency to make the sauce, you'll be fine. So as you can see here, my sauce mixture is kind of thick, and it's actually more green than SamTheCookingGuy's was, but whatever. It is what it is. All you need this sauce for, guys, is just to coat the chicken that we'll be using in just a second here, so it doesn't have to be like extremely runny or anything. So now I'm just going to wash my hands again because I'm going to go ahead and prepare the chicken. So we are actually using boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Now SamTheCookingGuy also used chicken thighs, but he used the bone in and skin on chicken thighs. I don't really care for those, so I just got these because they still are full of flavor even without the skin and the bone. So I'm just going to wash off my chicken thighs, and I definitely strongly advise you guys to wash off your chicken as well if you don't do that. But yeah, that's all I'm doing here. I only made 4 chicken thighs, and that's just because it's only 2 of us, and I knew we probably weren't going to eat any leftovers, which was a lie because I ate the rest of it the next morning. But yeah, if you have a larger family, you'll definitely want to maybe double or triple this recipe. If you're wondering what I'm doing with this paper towel, I'm just drying the chicken off so that the sauce can stick directly to the chicken and it doesn't like slide off. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add the sauce to the chicken. So SamTheCookingGuy said you want to coat the chicken with the sauce but not drown it. So I'm just going to put a little of the sauce on there, and then I'm using my spoon, which my husband said this was ghetto, but I'm not about to waste another dish. He said I should use some tongs for this when I already had a spoon in my hand. So you can use a spoon or a fork or some tongs. Doesn't matter, but you want to get the chicken coated with the sauce. Now we're going to take some of that bougie olive oil that we used earlier. We need a little more of that because we need to go ahead and sear the outside of our chicken to trap some of those flavors inside. So we're going to place the olive oil into the skillet, and we're going to heat this up on medium heat. Now I have those tongs that Bae said that I should have had a long time ago, but whatever. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and place the chicken directly into the skillet and go ahead and get that nice sear on the outside of the chicken. Okay, so I allowed the chicken to cook for maybe a minute and a half on the first side, and I'm going to go ahead and flip these because the goal here is just to get a nice sear on the outside to infuse those flavors. It's not really to cook the chicken completely through because we're going to finish it in the oven. So you see here, I didn't get as nice of a sear on the second two as I did the first two that I flipped, but whatever. Okay, so now I'm going to remove my chicken thighs from the skillet, and I also removed a little of the oil because we're going to be using this oil to cook the onions. So once I remove the chicken, I just go ahead and add in a few onions that I'm going to go ahead and saute and allow them to turn translucent. Okay, so these are looking just about done. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step. Now I'm placing 1 cup of white rice, dried white rice, directly into the skillet, and I'm just going to mix it up with the oil as well as the onion and let it soak up some of that flavor for just a second here. Now I'm going to add 1 cup of chicken broth, and this was actually some chicken base, like the Better Than Bouillon chicken base that I mixed up with some water and made my own chicken broth. So I'm adding 1 cup of that directly into this skillet. And if you haven't noticed, guys, this is a 1 skillet dish, which I love because you're not dirtying up your entire kitchen to make it. Next, I'm going to add in 1 cup of coconut milk. And this was my first time cooking with coconut milk. I think I was supposed to shake the can before I used it, but I didn't. So it has like chunks in it, but it still came out good with those chunks. Alright, so once I get the coconut milk added, of course we want to stir this up, make sure that we get all of our flavors combined. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this up so that it can come to a boil while I add in some Worcestershire. I think Worcestershire sauce, the W sauce. Alrighty, so once we bring this to a boil, we're going to go ahead and stir this up, make sure that we're getting those flavors combined together. Alright, so once we bring that mixture to a boil and turn it off, we're going to go ahead and add our boneless, skinless chicken thighs directly in. Now I'm adding some more of that jerk sauce that we made in the beginning directly into this just to get a little more flavor from it. So we've already preheated our oven to 350. We're going to cover the skillets and place it in the oven for 1 hour on 350. And this was the end result of that. Alright guys, this came out great. If I could have changed one thing, I would have just added a little more chicken broth because it was a little more drier than I expected it to be, but still good. If you want to see the full reaction of this delicious meal, you definitely want to check out the mukbang that we will be uploading on this.
Though it's gonna be a nice little.
It's good.
It's good?
It's good. It's really different too. But that's it, y'all. So if you enjoyed watching this video, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and turn on those post notifications so that you can see when we upload the mukbang and talk a little bit more about how this meal tasted. Thank y'all so much for staying tuned and have a wonderful day.